WNST. Beauty for the Ravens, but on the other side, the Bengals go back to Cincinnati now and try to pick up their pieces. This guy has been a longtime chronicler of all things Bengals in the jungle. Now works for Bengals.com as well as a lifelong Red Sox fan. So we'll get to that portion of the programming here at the end of our conversation. Welcome back. One of our defending champs, one of our favorite dudes, Geoff Hobson from Bengals.com, joining us now. And I tell you what, you've been on the other side of this thing where the Bengals have really sort of dominated this thing lately in the Harbaugh era and the Flacco era. Some thoughts about what you saw with Lamar Jackson, because we're all trying to process what the future of the Ravens is going to look like. Certainly the grand opening looked good from the purple side. I don't know if it's sustainable to run the football like that long term, but it worked for one Sunday, Hobby.
Yeah, it sure did. I mean, they get the team, they get the exact team they needed, a team that can't stop the run. And Bengals will struggle with that. Their linebackers, or the linebackers that they do have, are limping, and they don't have a couple of their starters, so they hit them right where it hurt. And it was, I had thought that if they were going to throw it 15, I thought if they were going to throw it more than 15 times, there would have had to have been an investigation. But Greg Roman's a smart man, and that's how it played out.
In preparing for Jackson and what the Bengals have had to do in recent weeks, and I think the Saints, we saw them a couple of weeks ago, they run something similar, but this is not preparing for Ben Roethlisberger or preparing for anything, Tom Brady, anything traditional that you see. Some thoughts about Marvin taking over last week and the big picture, because I didn't talk to you about that, but what happened with Terrell there, what's happened with the defense, and last year it was the offensive line, and look, it's the NFL, Hobby, we're the same way. It's like whack-a-mole, right? Like, we've had this wide receiver problem the last couple of years, we've had secondary problems, we have offensive line problems here now. It really does feel like you solve one problem, and you're always an injury or two or three away from having leaks in other places on your football team.
Yeah, I mean, they've, like I said, they've been cleaned out a linebacker. They've lost two key rotational guys up on defense. But you know how it is, Nasty. Everybody's got problems, and they have not been able to fill the gaps. The big thing is that the last two games, when they've had to make a run, they haven't been able to replace A.J. Green. That's they've the last drive of the game. It's clear that they don't have that you take away Boyd and they're struggling. So that's. To me, that's defined, really, besides Marvin taking over, that's what's defined this season, is that the offense has just kind of declined since September, and they haven't really developed anybody behind Green and Boyd to take it over.
Well, it feels to me like Mixon coulda, shoulda, woulda, been the guy who could win the game. And the one drive, you look up and it's Boyd and it's Mixon. That's where it was early in the game. And I said, until they have an answer for that. The Ravens did answer, and I guess a little more pressure on Dalton than maybe we're used to seeing at this point. And certainly in the secondary, we saw Tavon Young get beaten a couple times. But, by and large, the Ravens trying to get their full complement out there and getting a rush and stopping the run better than, maybe we give them credit for in recent weeks.
Oh, I mean, that's what they did. I mean, and the Bengals had run the ball well. And, but they don't really, the difference between Baltimore and Cincinnati, and I think the difference between Pittsburgh and Cincinnati is the Bengals don't really stick with the run. That was probably should have been there. That should have been their staple. Yes, that should have been their staple against the Ravens. Now I understand I understand that the Ravens are always difficult to run on, but when you get them in a situation like that where they get you throwing, we've seen many games in there where they put you on the back, and they come with a lot of pressure. And like I say, you throw that in with trying to find weapons other than Green, and it's I thought I credit him for hanging in that long. I mean that could have been that could have gone ugly at a couple points, but I thought they hung in there.
Geoff Hobson is here. He is the author of This Day in Bengals History. You can find that out at Bengals.com, where he does all his work. Of course, out on Twitter when he's not doing all things Bengals at Geoff Hobson, CIN. He is doing Tony Canigliaro impersonations and enjoying yet another Red Sox victory parade. Hey, we got baseball news around here this week. We're hiring a GM and stuff like that, but I am glad the football season has been extended, and now this really looks like a dog race, right? Like, I mean, Chargers lose. Here come the Colts, and they look real all of a sudden, and it looks like the Titans are receding. It feels like the Bengals are receding, and at least for a week, the Ravens are up. But this 5th and 6th, these spots in the wild card, this is going to be an interesting month because no one's running off to 11 victories here, it feels like, to run to this wild card. It feels like there's going to be some sort of 10 and 6, 9 and 7 thing happening, right?
Yeah, I think we kind of all thought. I think we all figured it was going to be a 9 and 7 deal, 8 and 8 deal for that sixth spot, and we get 5 teams at 5 and 5 now, right? So that's about what we thought. So another one that comes down to December. I mean, we start taking a look at the schedules. The Bengals have 3 games on the road in December. The Browns Browns have some sea legs. Now that they've got a running back, and
they're not an automatic win, right? I mean, you have them twice on your schedule, and I look at that as like an incredible benefit. Like, we have them at the end of the end, but even that doesn't feel automatic. I mean, the Raiders are coming in here this week, and they won on Sunday. I mean, there's nothing free in this league. So, when you win with your backup quarterback, even at home against a Bengals team that beat you pretty good earlier in the year, around here, we're sort of feeling like we had a kick save for the season. But all of these teams are week to week and looking at their schedule, looking at their road games, and waiting on someone. And for you guys, that's A.J. Green, right? Sooner you get him back and it's real, the sooner you feel like you get your offense back in its full complement.
Well, look, you get hopefully you get Green coming back. He was on the field during pregame. He went through rehab last week, made the trip, so that's encouraging for next week. But you get Cleveland and Denver at home back to back before you go to the chart. You got to win those games. That's what we've been saying. We're playing. You get Denver and you get Denver, Oakland, and Cleveland at home. And you got to win those. I mean, it's just flat out. Those are, what do they say? I mean, we're firing out a lot of cliches here, Nasty, but that's life. That's
one game at a time.
That's why they're cliches, right? That's why they're cliches, right? Because they're true. So, if you win the games you're supposed to, as they say, you get in. But that's the whole thing about this league.
Geoff Hobson is here.
That's not how it works.
Bengals.com. I want to ask you about Terrell Austin and the defense and Marvin and taking it over and what happened there last week, because that's not sort of a normal thing, and I know there's a lot of relationship there, as much as there's a lot of relationship between Marvin and Mike Brown as well, but, this thing was smelling really, really good a couple of weeks ago. The last month, much like the Ravens, both of these teams thought they were doing something with the Steelers. Defensively, is there any cavalry there at all that isn't a guy like Burfict coming back and playing better football the way he played a few years ago?
Well, I think he's hurt. He missed the last couple of games before the game against the Ravens. He missed 3 games, and he's still limping. So he's not 100%. Of course, nobody is at this point, but they've got to get. I think they have to. I think they turn to Marvin for some stability. They get some of that against the Ravens because that was a tough challenge playing against a quarterback you'd never seen before. And they were in the game. They had a chance to win it, which you haven't been able to say that in several games this season with the defense. So, but they need something. Clearly, they need something from there. I mean, I think Marvin will get the defense competent. He'll get them lined up. But I think they need they've got to get the offense to play like it did back in September.
55 runs, 27 by a quarterback. What has become of this league, Geoff Hobson?
I thought, don't tell me it's a passing league, okay? Because the teams are getting back into this race are running the ball. Now, Baltimore's obviously a different a different situation because of the quarterback. But I mean, they got a guy emerging there. The running game. I mean, the running game. The running back, the kid from Rutgers, comes out of nowhere. Guys looking over their depth charts trying to find out who this guy is. And don't tell me it's a throwing league, okay? Because watch the next month. The teams that can run it are going to win it. The teams that run it in the cold weather and keep their deep. It's a time of possession league now. It's not a field position league. It's a time of possession league because of the way the rules are. Your defense can be pretty good and still get beat. So the only answer is to keep them off the field. And the only way to keep them off the field is run the ball. To me, that's Baltimore might be hitting this thing at just the right time because some genius is going to come along with a 1985, smash mouth offense and win this thing.
Well, I mean, shades of Jamal Lewis when we're running the ball 55 times and throwing it 19 times. Geoff Hobson is here. He is from Bengals.com, but he is a baseball aficionado as well as a Red Sox historian. I want to give it to you on the Orioles side because you're such a good sports fan, aside from being involved in this, and I know you like baseball so much, and you've worked outside of the Bengals, inside the Bengals. The Bengals are a very unique family business as well that you're involved in. The Orioles, with this sort of sea change in going analytics, this is a dawn of a new day in trying to chase down the Red Sox and the Yankees with less money in the modern era, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, you got to be careful of too much analytics, I mean, I guess in baseball you need it because you got to keep up with the Joneses, but I'm not sure the Red Sox are the perfect I don't think they were the perfect analytic team. I think they won it because Alex Cora went with his, saw the game, played the right guys at the right time. I don't know, maybe the analytics guys told him who to play, but it seemed like he made some in-game moves that were, more baseball than numbers. And, let's face it, they won it because not a ball dropped in the outfield and they hit doubles. Well, that's kind of old-fashioned stuff, right? So I'm not sure I'm married to the analytics thing. I know it doesn't work in football. Ask the Browns.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's always good to have football people in football positions. Geoff Hobson is a football guy, but a baseball fan. He's out at Bengals.com. Also has a new book out, This Day in Bengals History. 50 years of the Bengals, right? And still trying to win a Super Bowl and do all that, but certainly a rich history there, and you sort of chronicled it all. And it's a brand new book, right? Only been out a month or two, right?
Right. Unfortunately, November 18th, 2018 won't make it. It might make your This Day in Ravens history.
Well, it'll make Lamar Jackson, who at the end of the game ran out, fanned the football at the end, and he'll frame that and put that away and all that. But to me, it was an interesting day in Ravens history. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I know some people have been writing that might have been the last stand of the Ozzie Billick Harbaugh run.
I said to my wife, and we'll have at this again because you and I get together at owners' meetings and Super Bowls, and we see each other all the time, and of my incredible affinity of Marvin and his faux affinity for me as well. But I said to my wife, we were getting ready for the game, we're putting our purple on, we're walking over the stadium. I said, I think this is the last time we're going to go to a John Harbaugh, Marvin Lewis game. Where they're going to play each other. I would think this time next year, the sheer volume of 16 years for Marvin and 11 or 12 now for Harbaugh, that this isn't going to continue much longer. And you'd say that for Tomlin, and they almost lost. And look, I mean, Tomlin might be in Pittsburgh another 15 years for all we know at this point, right?
I want to know what Ozzie's doing.
Well,
to me, Ozzie's the architect of the thing,
Yeah, but Ozzie's going. I mean, Ozzie's not staying. We know that. It certainly was the last game for Ozzie, that's for sure, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, what a great career he had, calling the shots. The only guy that I know of that could go in the Hall twice.
Well, if Lamar Jackson
I voted for him as a player. I'd vote for him as an executive.
And I think many will. What is the time frame on? Is that a couple of years? You have to wait 2-3 years before he'll get nominated?
You can't put him in twice. He's already in. So
you can't put him in twice. I thought you could. I thought he could go in as executive.
Yeah, you can't put him in twice, but it's 5 years. Guy retires, it's 5 years. I think it's different for executive. I think it may be different for executive and coaches.
I'm gonna start petitioning.
There you go, Nasty.
Well, there will be people in Denver petitioning for Elway if he wins a few more too, right? So.
Well, you guys. I mean, if there's any guy that can push a petition, it's you.
Free the birds. I don't know. Free Ozzie Newsome. Geoff, always a pleasure, man. Keep covering the football. We'll stay in touch. A lot of meaningful football you're going to play, we're going to play in the coming weeks, including some similar opponents. We'll stay friends during the holidays. Enjoy your eggnog, my friend.
Have a great Thanksgiving, Christmas, and maybe we'll see each other in that wild card game.
Send pumpkin pie. I would love to see you in the wild card game. There he goes, Geoff Hobson joining us here. Geoff Hobson, CIN, out on Twitter, and the book is This Day in Bengals History. He could probably also write it This Day in Red Sox History as well. You can find me out in the buyatoyota.com audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by going to the buyatoyota.com audio vault. You can listen anytime, anywhere. The kids call it podcasting. The morning newspaper delivers at 7 a.m. each and every morning. It's all brought to you by Planet Fitness at planetfitness.com. $5 down, $10 a month. You know the deal. It's always warm inside. And for the next few months, you'll want to move inside with your workouts to Planet Fitness, where they're always judgment-free. Learn more at planetfitness.com. Also, our morning newspaper delivered in part by our friends at the Maryland Jockey Club and Laurel Racetrack. Also warm inside the sports bar down in Laurel. They're racing this week amidst the pumpkin pie and the apple pie and the crab cakes down there and the beautiful new sports bar. Entries at the front of WNST.net as well as in our morning newspaper. Dennis Kolatzis is doing Tuesday this week, not Thursday this week, but you'll still hear it on Sunday because it's the Sunday Sports Voice. We have a new sheriff in town for baseball. We have a new season alive at 5-5 now with the Ravens heading to Owings Mills all week for the pumpkin pie. Dennis will be here early this week. You can find them out at Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. And, of course, if there's any more breaking news, like the Orioles hiring a manager, you'll get it first on the WNST text service. It's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. I am a very available individual, Nasty at WNST.net. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, streaming live on our Facebook as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.